What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 365 podcast. It's your boy Big Rick.
I'm Drew.
And today we're here with a special guest, the one, the only, probably the greatest ref of all time, our buddy, Earl Hebner.
Man, what a deal!
So yeah, man. So we got Earl. We got Earl in the house. We got a sign today. He's here at the store. We're gonna do a signing with him today. But before we get into that, we're gonna kind of talk about kind of his journey through the business, some of our memories, and then some of his, and just kind of shoot the shit with him a little bit. We're super glad to have you, man. Welcome, man. We're glad to have you, bro.
Hey, man, I'm honored to be here. And but sitting between you two guys, that's probably the toughest match I've ever had in my life.
No, man. So we'll get started right to it. So let's talk about early days. Let's talk about who gave you your first gig, and how did you make it? You just didn't start out in the WWF or whatever, right? You kind of worked your way to that, or how'd it go?
Right. Well, I was putting the ring up in Richmond, Virginia, because that's where I live, for the Crockett NWA. And then one of the referees passed away on the way up to the match on a Friday night. So they asked me, said, "We need a favor. Can you referee for us tonight?" And I go, "Referee? I don't know about refereeing." He said, "Earl, all you got to do is listen." I said, "Okay." So I did that, and I worked for them for many years, and off and on, you know, in the states that were where I lived at. Then we did the twin angle for Hogan when he was going to do the movies, and I happened to be a twin. That's all that mattered.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, you know, I had to go in to be the bad one. So, and I'm paying the price today. Believe me, I can't get this show wrong.
I heard that. All right, so you got your break there. Let's talk about. So you got going now. What year was that when you come in to the wrestling scene with Crockett and them?
Oh my God, it was probably in the late '70s, probably.
So you was there before WrestleMania 1.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so WrestleMania 1, you hadn't made it to the WWF yet?
No, I didn't go up until I think it was Wrestle 3 or 4.
Okay, so you made
in '88. I was there in '88.
All right, so you switch over there. So things get a little bit more serious. The payday changes for you. Everything changes, or is it kind of was it kind of the same down through there as far as, or how'd that work out for you?
Well, definitely the payday got serious.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But it was different and a little more stressful, you know, mentally and physically wise, because you're working just like a minor league and a big league.
Yeah, thanks. You know? So Vince, so you're working for Vince or Vince's daddy or Vince at the time?
Vince.
Okay, so you never worked for Vince's dad?
No.
All right, so Vince, how was it working for Vince McMahon?
I'd rather work for his dad. I wish I had knew his dad back then. Been a lot easier. But
I heard that.
But Vince was just a tough guy. Bad. Well, yeah, bad. You know.
Is Vince what you see on TV? Is he hard to deal with, like all the way around, or is he?
Period. He's a piece of shit all the way around.
Oh man, I heard that. So we're not fans of Vince. I was actually a fan of Vince until you're not now. So I say fuck Vince McMahon too. But no, man. So that goes on for a few years. The business, man, his brain though, man, was second to none though, man. He took the business and kind of put his spin on it, and he grew it, and he did, I guess, all the bad things he did a lot of good things as well. My favorite WrestleMania moment with you, and it would probably be WrestleMania 9. That's WrestleMania 9's the one in Caesars. That's when Bret Hart put Yoko in the sharpshooter, and they threw the powder.
Fuji
threw the powder, and then they brought Hogan out, and then they ended up letting Hogan win the belt back or whatever. That wasn't supposed to be like that, I heard, but.
Well, really, sometimes nothing's supposed to be like that.
So what do you remember of it? Because I watched a documentary on them making WrestleMania. That's when they started recording the backside of the process. I watched that on I think it's Hulu. And that's the first WrestleMania that they started recording, like in the back and like in the locker room, and they brought live animals into it. It was a lot. Do you remember anything from wrestling like that? Do you still remember those moments like vividly, or does is we did so much stuff, it just kind of comes and goes.
It's kind of comes and goes because most people that, like you're talking about, remember it because there's something special to them, Yeah. But as many matches as I've done, and not that it's not special, but it's just so much that I've done that I can't remember all.
So what about the WrestleMania? I know like some of them have to stick out to you. What about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, the 60-minute match, the Iron Man match? When they come back, gave them more time and all that.
Yeah. So I was blown up like a frog.
Man, so there's so much. There's so many like core memories that I have of those, and like you're involved in all of them, man. And I know, like you said, it kind of goes hand in hand on that. But what sticks out to you? Like, what's some of your favorite matches?
Well, I had a lot of favorite matches, but the ones I really like being into, I like being in the Stone Cold matches. Because I drank that free beer after the 1, 2, 3.
Did he ever hit you with a stunner?
No.
He never hit you with a stunner? No. You didn't let him hit you with a stunner?
No, he hit me with a beer can.
Did he?
I kept saying, Steve, slow down. I'm drinking, because I would try to drink them as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm looking and he's going, his beer's going down here.
Funny,
and hell, sometimes I couldn't even walk out of the ring and I'm going, I can't do this. So I started to go through mine, let it go down the shirt too.
Yeah,
Before we get too far into it, I wanted to ask, what was the very first big match that you refereed that you can remember?
That was
WWE or WWF then, but
that was a Saturday night main event with Hogan and Andre.
Oh, nice.
The twin lookalike deal.
How big was Andre in person?
Andre was a big man.
Yeah,
but a great guy.
It was nice.
The thing about Andre, if he liked you, he liked you. If he didn't, get the hell out.
I heard that. And you were good friends with Hogan. Hogan treated you well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Hogan treated you well. Andre was good. Talk about some of the guys that for the most part, was everybody good people, or there were some bad people to work with?
I've only had a couple bad ones, but one of the worst ones I dealt with was Macho Man.
Macho Man, he just wasn't easy to work with.
No, he was so jealous of Miss Elizabeth, and
no, in real life, not just in the storyline. In real life,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, once in a while they'd have me travel with her from show to show when they did the turnaround with him and Hogan.
Yeah.
And she'd be flying in first class, and he'd buy the other seat next to her, and nobody ever said anything because he didn't want nobody sitting with her.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was driving around, going down the road, driving her, because he was driving the other car, but they didn't want to be seen together.
Yeah.
And we would be talking like we're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the horn to be blowing, the lights will be beeping. The horn to be beeping, and the lights will be blinking. And I'm going, what the hell's going on? And he pull over the car, and he walk up to the car and go, look, roll down the window and go, what's the big conversation in here, brother? And I go, what the hell is wrong? You know what I mean? What are we supposed to do? And then we stop at the store, and she, he'd go run in the store and get her a drink and whatever, get him something and come back and nothing.
He wouldn't get you nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, man.
And I'm going,
he was one of those kind of guys? That's crazy.
Man. Truthfully, he was a superstar, but he was an idiot in real life.
But he was jealous was he really jealous of Hogan that bad, though? Literally the way that, because, Hogan seemed like he always won up Macho no matter what the situation was.
Right.
And I've watched a bunch of interviews and documentaries about it, and it just seems like that he was really legitly kind of jealous of Hogan,
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole deal.
When we had TV, she'd eat her lunch in the locker room. He wouldn't let her go to catering.
Dang.
Wow.
Dang.
So you're talking about being on the road. We hear a lot of stories with Stone Cold and different guys of being travel partners. Who are some of your favorite travel partners to travel with, and give us some good stories on those?
Well, mainly I'd play cards in the dressing room with Sting, but most of the time I never traveled with the boys. I traveled with my brother and the agent, or the guy, the doctor or whatever, does the taping and shit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because I just didn't like traveling with the boys.
Yeah.
I didn't mind drinking
attention and stuff.
Right. I didn't mind drinking beer and having a little party at a bar with them.
Yeah.
But as far as being every day with them, it just didn't work out that way.
I heard that. So how is let's talk about your how is a referee's contract work? Are you just do you sign a contract like the wrestlers do, or
Yeah.
are you like a paid actor like the wrestlers are, or is it?
No, I had a 5-year deal, 5-year
CD?
contract.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't know how that worked as far as like and now what about like so you get like a Legends deal now?
No, not yet.
You don't get it yet?
I don't think I'll ever get it.
You don't get
like a Hall of Fame. I'm never gonna get the Hall of Fame, and unless I die, maybe they'll throw me in there then,
Dang.
because you don't have to pay the expenses for the hotel or flame.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm paying your hotel for you to come on the 365
Yeah.
podcast. Vince ought to be able to, or Triple H ought to be able to pick it up for you for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Call and tell them we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
You
we'll
need
take
to be
care
in
of
there.
your room.
Yeah, then just. Just when I come, I don't want no damn Motel 6. Okay?
I heard that.
Even if Jeff Bodine's gonna leave a light on, I don't need it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember that. That was pretty funny.
So the state. So as far as now, let's talk about the timeline where. So fast forward through the Bret Hart, and let's get to the let's talk about the screw job, man. That's that's probably one of my favorite storylines in wrestling. Period. Now, when that happened,
Now, wait a minute, before you even start, you talking about the Montreal screw jobs? Because you know how many screw jobs I've done.
yeah. No, I'm talking about these screw jobs, Montreal screw jobs.
The Superboy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, now, who all knew really what was going to happen? The ending of that match. Who really knew? And when did you know?
I knew walking to the ring.
Oh, wow.
In other words, like the last match was in the ring, and they had about maybe 5 minutes left. So I made made my path to the gorilla, and then I was pulled to the side and stopped, and was told what they wanted. What Vince wanted.
Vince didn't tell you directly.
No.
Like Briscoe told you?
Yeah.
And Briscoe said, "Hey, man, Michaels is gonna put him in a sharpshooter. You fast count it and get out of there."
Yep. Ring the bell. And I go, how come nobody told me this shit all day long? I've been here all day. Nobody. Now all of a sudden I'm going to the ring. And the thing what I told Brett, he bought me. We were in Winnipeg, I believe, if I can remember right. And we flew from Winnipeg.
Did you like Brett?
Yeah, I love
Brett was
yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
Did you like Michaels? Was Michaels good?
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah.
But the bad thing was those two guys had a grudge against each other.
Yeah, Michaels is my all-time favorite, but I loved Bret Hart growing up. So this deal right here kind of
Broke your heart.
Yeah, it killed me out because I like both of them. You know what I mean? And I hated seeing Bret go to WCW.
Do you know how many hearts I've broken in this business?
I bet.
And did you really think I care?
No, I get it. But yeah, so he, so you knew right before the match, and then I know once Bret, it happened to him. He rung the bell. I know Sean acted like he didn't know what was going on, right?
Right.
And then Bret started smashing the monitors and stuff, and then he went to the back, and he really knocked Vince out, right?
Yeah.
That was a real deal. You wasn't back there?
No, I was gone. If you go back and look at the film, our ding, 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 ran, jumped out of the ring, okay? A hockey wall, jumped over the hockey wall, because after I knew what they wanted, or was told what they wanted, I'm going, he's going to kill my ass, because I already told him, I said, I won't count you out.
Yeah.
Promise I won't count you. And I didn't count him out now,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But I felt bad, and
So when you had to face him though, like what later on, do you see how quick did you have to see him face to face?
it took about maybe a year and a half.
Oh wow! So you didn't see him right because he left. Right?
I left. I was gone.
Yeah.
When I jumped in the car, it was like a bank robbery.
Oh, man.
I could still hear the bell ringing in the car.
But you got out of there, so you didn't want to face him because he was your buddy. You know, you didn't want
and
to.
it was it really truly it was a tough situation, and it's like I was told 5 minutes before the match started, and I couldn't get to Brett to tell him what the deal was.
Well, if you would have seen Brett, you would have told him.
I would have said, don't tap or don't give up in the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
You know, I would have told him, honestly.
You would have just told him without telling him. You would have said, "Hey, don't do this.
Don't do it. Don't do it." But I didn't have enough time, and everybody's watching me, especially Vince and Slaughter and Pat Patterson and Briscoe and I'm going, how in the hell can I get this message?
So
to
they
him?
really put you in a tough spot.
It was tough. It was tough, you know. And then if you thought, you know, it's like you know you're doing wrong, but is like you said, is Brett going to give you $1 million of that $3 million down at WCW?
Yeah, no.
You know,
no.
and to be truthful about the whole deal too, honestly, it could have been done in the right way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Brett said he didn't mind dumping the belt to Michaels. He just didn't want to do it that way. He wanted to come back and do it on Monday night and then leave.
Yeah.
But Vince thought he was going to take the belt on TV on the other show.
Like Londa Blaze did.
Yeah. So so that was a big deal for them. So you get through that. Brett leaves. He goes to WCW, and then he don't last very long over there. He gets kicked or hit by Goldberg. and that pretty much ends his career.
Right.
And
Which I heard a lot of people talk about Goldberg being hard to wrestle with. They said
they say he was one of the worst wrestlers there is.
You could put him and the Ultimate Warrior together. Neither one could be a wrestler.
So speaking of Ultimate Warrior and guys like that, how was it being around they built him up like Vince tried to put everything into him, right? And
yeah. Well, can you say bad language?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
Well, the old saying goes, "You can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit."
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And that's.
I love that saying too.
Between Goldberg and the Warrior, ain't no chicken salad coming out of that.
Yeah, I heard that. Now you were there. You got there, say at 3 or 4. So was you there for when they did the angle with Sergeant Slaughter and Hogan? When they made Sergeant Slaughter, he was like a part of the.
I don't.
Remember he was a part of the. It was like the Iraqi war was going on, and it had the Sheik. The Sheik was part of it.
Oh,
And it ended up being Sergeant Slaughter. He sold out to the, and then he was like really getting death threats and stuff like that. I just something like that. Do you remember anything like that stuck out to you? Like some of the angles were just too crazy, like for you to even believe.
Yeah.
You know, Vince was like the king of coming up with angles.
Oh, I know it.
He was the man, that dude. Like, but they said he'd done so much crazy stuff. Like, he really lived that, like his whole like storyline in real. He tried to live it like a real life. That's why he was so like crazy and fucked up.
He was. He's
Man.
a fucking maniac.
So you and Vince. How much time do you think you spent with Vince over the years?
I was there for 18 years, you know, and
Was he just a hard businessman? Was he in person like a general good guy or no? Or he just had too much power?
he had too much power, too much money, and he was just a jerk.
Man.
And he didn't have.
I would like to hope that he was just a good dude. He just was just the leader of it, and somebody had to be the bad guy. Because I really liked Vince. Like as far as I don't know him, you know him. So that's what makes it tough for us. But we liked some of the storylines he come up with. Man, it was just some of the stuff was crazy. Like we had Butterbean here for our first podcast. We had Butterbean, and he did the whole the Brawl for All, where they brung him and he like did the boxing and stuff.
Yeah.
Was you part of that?
Oh, yeah.
He was? Okay.
But here's the thing, you know, I could go in there and do 20 good things and have one screw up, and that's what he would do. He wouldn't say good job. He'd go, what the hell was this? What the hell was that? And not only to me, but all the talent, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he poured out all the bad shit, but none of the good stuff.
So who was like his ace? Like who? Obviously he rode with Hogan was the guy, right? He put everything around Hogan and for the longest.
Yeah, and then Shawn, Diesel, Razor.
Yeah.
He babysat all of them.
Yeah, they were the main guys. The
clique.
Yeah. Well, yes. I was just wondering how some of that went down, man, and with you being you had a front row seat to all that stuff. What about the NWO? What did you think about that when that was going on? Well, because you was on Raw. You was on the Monday Night Wars. You was on Raw, right? Yeah.
Right.
So they kicked y'all's ass for 2 years in a row, man.
Right.
What was? I bet you Vince was just pissed, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. He was going ape shit.
And then
because he's not used to being beat.
Yeah. So what was y'all like? How was the meetings and stuff when y'all were getting beat?
They were horrible.
Man, I bet.
Well, they were horrible listening to him giving you your orders.
Dang.
I want this, I want that, I don't want this fucked up tonight, I don't want that fucked up.
Yeah.
And everything. But if you look at it this way, anything new is going to outdraw something that you've
Yeah, it's
seen
been there, yeah.
for a while. But after a while, the devil's going to get your ass.
But you know, like like the Rock come in, and then like when they come up with DX, that was a big draw for. How was that work? How was it doing the gimmicks with him? I know I seen the one picture where Triple H had you in he put your arms behind your arms behind your back or something.
Yeah.
They had you and would they always like plan to mess with you and stuff and do stuff like that? They thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Was Triple H cool? Was he good people?
Triple H was a great guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know.
Yeah.
I've always liked Triple H. I did a match with him at the Gardens before he was just. I mean, he was a good wrestler on top.
Yeah.
But he was, he'd walk across a guy's body
Yeah.
and fall.
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't fall. But we was at the Gardens one night, and I was doing the match, and he does his deal where he walks across, and he fell off. And I'm hollering, don't sell it, don't sell it, don't sell it, don't sell it. And he gets up, and he looks at the crowd like he's giving them shit.
Yeah.
Because if he'd have sold it, he'd have looked stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome.
But he could always put it on the guy that he fell off of, But Triple H was a good guy, really.
Now, was you reffing the night of the curtain call? When they all come out when they all.
Oh yeah, it was at Madison Square Garden.
You was there for that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, that's another iconic thing.
That's when they were leaving.
They were leaving,
and Sean was in the ring with them.
But nobody could figure out what was going on.
Right.
So but they kind of like exposed the business or whatever,
Right.
quote unquote.
Right.
And Vince wasn't happy about that shit at all. They said, but. Do you know that was going to happen, or that just happened?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh wow!
I don't think anybody knew it. Really,
Everybody was
truly.
really shocked by that.
That was out of the blue.
Nice.
So,
And the reason nobody knew because they could have cut the people at the Guards would have seen it, but
everybody else would have just
right.
It went black.
TV viewers would have never seen it.
Yeah.
the whole Attitude Era, like, of course, that was like the glory days for us. Like, we started watching before then, but that whole Attitude Era was.
Yeah, we used to say "suck it" a million times. That was like
everything was.
And
Anybody said anything, it was "suck it."
Right, suck it.
Right. Well, speaking of that,
How was it being there in that era?
that was great. But I don't know if y'all remember this. Triple H was in a restaurant eating. And it's on TV, and thing. And the girl comes underneath and gets under the table, and he's sitting there going, I mean.
Yeah, they used to like do a lot of different stuff like crazy.
Oh yeah.
What about when Vince was in the hospital and Stone Cold out like the doctor or whatever?
Hit him with the
Yeah.
bedpan.
Yeah. Or then they had Brian Pillman. He come in with a gun and all the crazy stuff. I know they did a bunch of wild stuff.
It's like, I don't mean to cut you off, but Billy and Bart.
Yeah.
The young guns, they used to go with guns and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, they just did away with that shit.
Yeah.
Because it was.
Yeah, that was cool, though, man. That was a good time.
The networks made them stop doing it. Yeah.
Right.
What about another good one was when Stone Cold put concrete in Vince's
Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about the bus blew up?
Yeah, the bus went. Everybody thought Vince was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think as far as if you had all the talent you've seen, all the matches? I mean, you've been right there, first talent. Who do you think the best tag team ever was?
Well, the Hart Foundation was tough.
You think they were just
They had this shit together.
Yeah. So you like them? Now was the Road Warriors? They always get the nod. Everybody says the LOD Road Warriors was the best ever. Do you think they were just because they were like so exciting to watch? Like they were just like full blast to the ring, like when that music come on and.
Well, I think it was the music and the gimmicks, the spikes and all the. But they were tough guys and they were over. They were good.
Was you there for the '92 SummerSlam when they were in London?
Yeah.
You were there for that? Oh, that was another crazy pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That was big. That's when Animal or they said Hawk was drunk, and they rode the bikes to the ring, and he burned his leg on the when they rode the bikes. I've heard all the stories, man. I watched all.
Well, the good story was we were out going down the road one night, just the guys.
Yeah.
We had evening off or something.
Yeah.
And Animal and the Nasty Boys got in an argument. It was it was Hawk and I think Knives on the street. And they got to fighting on the street.
Really
by
fight,
this building.
really fight.
Yeah. And he threw Knobs into a big ass overhead door and it came down and the boys had to break them up.
Yeah, Knobs is my Knobs and Sags. Nasty Boys is my all-time favorite tag.
They're my heroes.
I love them. I love them, man. They were funny.
Was it them when we were up at the Square Circle Expo talking about that they got drunk with some fans one night and they gave them the belts and then they
they had to get them back. They had to get them back. And then one time they said that they jumped and beat the hell out of Ken Shamrock at a hotel. They said that they really almost got real charges pressed against them for that. The Nasty Boys said that they about 5 times they about got real charges pressed against them. He said it just is they were crazy.
The names fit them.
Yeah. So I like the Nasty Boys. You say the Hart Foundation was pretty tough. I liked like IRS was pretty cool. They were pretty tough too.
Yeah.
Do you like DiBiase? Was he a good dude?
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, they was. Yeah.
I've always liked DiBiase. Well, I've always liked everybody, but I have the special ones that I
looked out for you and really good to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're kind of a big part of the ref is like really a vocal, like when you have a ref that has a personality, that's a big part of the match. Like, and that goes a long way. What did you think about like Doink and Dink and all them? Did they get on your nerves or did you like them or?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
we had a spot one night where they were going to swing me around, or swing Doink around, and he's going to bump me in the head with his feet, right?
Yeah.
And then I go take a bump, and then they go do a screw job or something.
Yeah.
He comes back. He goes, "You screwed my match up." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You weren't there to take the bump." I said, "What do you think? I'm a goddamn jack in the box? Your feet were 10 feet up in the air. I'm only 6'5". I said, "But you don't have to worry about me screwing up nothing no more." I said, "To hell with your matches. I don't need to do them."
So how did you were there for the WrestleMania 9 too when they brung the other he was like real demanding. I heard with Vince and Vince is like, "Man, we can put anybody in the costume. We don't gotta just have you in it." And then they did the thing where they were like shadowing each other and. Then there was like 2 Doinks, 2 clowns. They were like doing the whole thing, and then Doink and Dink, the little clowns. I remember that as like Survivor Series or something. That was like all the little ones came. That was pretty cool. But yeah, you've seen a lot of stuff, man. You've seen a lot of stuff.
He asked you about who you thought the best tag team was. Who do you think the best single wrestler was?
Entertaining wise or wrestling wise?
Just either one or all around.
Well, I think The Undertaker was good. He played his gimmick good.
Was he nice to you?
Oh,
was he a really nice guy?
Mark Calloway is one of the best guys that you'd ever want to be.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, I used to play the deal where I'd be doing something and he'd look at me and I'd go, "Oh shit," and I'd drop down and roll out of the ring. Paul Bearer was sitting there with his hands like this, and when I roll out, Paul Bearer would move his hands, I'd hit the floor. But that's a good time that you have.
Now
So what about some of the casket matches? You remember like what's his name, Koala or Kamala, where he'd get scared and Undertaker put him in the Man, so many good matches. Like my childhood, I remember like our childhood, like. You were like involved with that so much. Like I remember you as like the ref. That's crazy because like all the like the core memories we have is like you're the referee, and it's wild to me how the game has. Was you the ref for the Michaels and Stone Cold where Tyson was involved? You remember that one when at WrestleMania where Mike Tyson came?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question, because there might have been 2 of them. But was that the time that Buster Douglas beat Tyson, and they used Buster Douglas? Because I had that match where me and Mike Tyson were supposed to be the outside guy, and Buster Douglas happened to beat him. Yeah,
no, that was something else. I was talking about at WrestleMania where Tyson was with the DX, and then he turned on him, and he ended up being with Stone Cold at the end. And then I think Stone Cold gave him a stunner anyways. I think at the at the end of it. He like spit beer everywhere.
I think I was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You've been in so many matches. It's hard to. I'm sure it's hard to keep up with it, but it's amazing to me, man. Some of the stuff you've seen, dude. It's crazy.
So if you could pick out of all time anybody you've ref for or haven't ref for, and put them 1-on-1, who would be the two people the match you would want, your dream match to referee?
God. Well, I know Austin would be it. I just got to figure.
Some of those Austin Rock matches were crazy, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I screwed that up.
What was Rock night? Was Rock nice to you too?
Yeah.
Was he a good dude?
I refereed him in Anaheim, California.
Yeah.
I did that match.
Yeah.
And the thing was, he was supposed to kick out of the rock bottom
Yeah.
and then do another one.
Yeah.
And drop the leg or whatever the hell he did, you know.
Yeah.
And they changed it and they didn't tell me.
Oh.
So I went 1, 2, and I didn't count. And,
It was supposed to be over.
yeah.
And they start playing playing their music.
1, 2, kick out, right?
Yeah.
And then go back and hit him with another rock bottom.
Yeah.
So we look like, you know.
Yeah.
And they never told me that they just wanted to do 1. So I was looking for 2. And the second one, Rock did it. He said, "Now count, motherfucker."
Ah, dang. So he was
That's
upset.
what
He was
said.
a little upset.
So then but when we got back in the dressing room, I said, "Rock, that's not what the fuck y'all told me."
Yeah.
You know? And he says, "Yes, we did." I said, "No, you didn't. You said you were going to give him 1, he's going to kick out, and then you give him another one and count 3.
Yeah.
They forgot to tell me.
So how many any of those matches where it come down to you, where you either counted too fast or hit it 3 times or didn't hit it, and then like they know when to like cue the music, right? So you hit it, and then the music goes off and it's
Right.
over, right?
Right.
Now, as far as that, did you ever fast count it too fast, or did you ever like get too hyped up yourself and do the wrong thing?
No.
No, you didn't. It's pretty well cut and dry what you're supposed to do.
Right. I tell you what I did with the Road Warriors was to talk and somebody. I don't know why in the hell I can't think, but we're doing TVs, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Go home, go home," and they wouldn't go home.
Yeah, that means end the match, right?
Right. That means we gotta go.
Yeah, it's time to.
Yeah.
Because you got the time. You know the time.
Right.
Are they telling you the time in the ear?
Yeah. I said we gotta go.
What's in your ear? Who's talking to you in your ear?
The TV producer. In the trailer.
So about commercial, especially they'll tell you say commercial.
Right. Say commercials coming up.
What do you do during commercial? They just keep fighting like normal.
They just grab a hole or they fight outside.
Yeah.
Or do something real.
Or like they just kill time.
But
Kind
here's
of
the
give
deal.
a little break.
Yeah, I'll say we're going in commercial. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But you got to count it under your breath so the
right.
people can't see.
Right.
Right.
And then I go back, and then I'll say we got 2 minutes before we come back, and then what it is, you do what you want for the time of the commercial. But when you come back, if I have you in a chokehold or headlock, that's what you got to be in.
Yeah.
You know, or supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not critical.
No.
Who the hell's going to remember anyway?
But how detailed are the spots in the match? Like they have to be like. So like say it's you, Rock, and Stone Cold. Y'all working the match on pay-per-view. Y'all come out there earlier that day and go over every single thing.
I do.
You do.
A lot of referees don't, but I go from bell to bell.
Yeah.
It was like I was telling somebody a while ago. I mean, just say if you're out there wrestling and you kick him in the balls and you don't tell me, well, I got to ring the bell.
Yeah.
Because I can see it. If I don't, I'm burning myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think about Jimmy Hart?
I love him. I love Jimmy
Is
Hart.
he your favorite? You think he's the best manager of all time?
The best.
Yeah, he would always get up on the apron and those interactions with the managers and stuff, that they're there to like kind of get up there and mess with you, like distract you and stuff like that. So Jimmy Hart, you think was the best to work with?
The best.
There are other ones that are like Bobby Heenan.
Love Bobby. Well, yeah, I got to say Bobby. Jimmy, Gorilla,
Yeah.
Monsoon.
Yeah.
What
What about guys like that you probably wasn't like close with, or like Slick? You remember Slick?
Slick was good.
Yeah, he was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I really liked all the managers, but it's just like
Because they're a key part. Like, they're a
Right.
key part of the whole thing,
Right.
like, with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be on the ball. So if there's something that,
Fuji was pretty cool.
huh?
Fuji was good to work
Fuji
with.
was a mess, man.
Yeah.
We
Cause I got a picture in there that when we do the signing, I got a picture in there. It's you're counting Bret Hart, and it's when he's throwing the powder into. That was just baby powder. That's all that was, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when they were trying to sell Luger. You remember when Luger slammed Yoko out when they were outside?
on the ship.
Yeah,
I done that.
He was there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I
yeah.
refereed that match. Yoko, it was so damn hot. Yoko come out and
He was slipping, right?
his feet got blisters on him.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
canvas was so hot. He was going woo 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 woo.
And then Luger would just come out in street clothes and he slammed him and
Right.
everybody went crazy.
Right.
But then they said that Luger wasn't like a people person. He was hard to work with. So then like Vince couldn't really sell him because he was just so hard to work with and deal with.
I think he was kind of tough to work with, but as far as sitting here like we are,
Yeah.
he's perfect.
Oh yeah,
He's
that's
a
cool.
cool.
That's awesome.
He's cool. You know.
Because they say that he with everything that's going on with him that he's like standing up and stuff now and
Oh, God, yeah.
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, I wish the best for
He's
him.
down there with what DDP.
Yeah, he did the
DDP, yeah.
Yeah.
DDP's helped a whole lot of them.
Yeah, Jake the Snake.
He helped Butterbean.
Yeah.
how was Jake the Snake?
Jake was okay.
Was it? I heard he was wild.
He's
man.
crazy.
Yeah, I heard he was wild.
Yeah.
So do you ever have any? Was you there when the snake bit Macho Man?
He bit Andre's teeth. He bit Andre in the shoulder.
It was that was like it really bit him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because his teeth was in Andre's shoulder.
Oh wow.
But I think he bit Moncho too. But
I know that they let Macho do it, but he's like, hey brother, you're gonna have to. He's like, man, what if the snake? He's like, you're gonna have to let it bite you first. So they, in the locker room, Macho Man said that
thought it was poison.
yeah, he let it bite him first, and then they got out there and then he let the snake out and it bit Macho Man, but he didn't have no teeth or whatever. It just stuck, like grabbed him. But yeah, dude, I all those old. How was Roddy Piper? Was he crazy?
crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
He put. We were in Winnipeg. Winnipeg. And we're doing a match. And the next day we got to go to the Gardens, right? I'm refereeing, and Piper's got a chair. And he goes, Hebner, take a bump. Boom! Busts me wide open, right at the
He just
top.
said Hebner take a bump and hit you with it?
Yeah.
Damn.
It busted. Probably, I ain't got much hair anyway,
Yeah.
but it was right in here where
Yeah,
all in
yeah.
the hair is. Okay, I go to the hospital. They put 12. They put, I think, 8 staples in my head.
Oh,
right?
wow.
The next day I go to Madison Square Gardens with the pressure on the plate. My eyes is as black as this antenna here.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't referee.
Oh, wow.
But that's Piper. Piper would come out of the blue. And,
Just out of the
I mean,
blue.
sometimes he just fucking hits you with your head, with a tick bump, boom, or anything. You know, it just happened to be you had a hand on the chair.
Yeah, he was like say he was a loose cannon.
But
He was-
God knows he was good,
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
and he took no shit.
How was Flair?
Flair,
He was a wild one, I'm sure.
Flair got me my first divorce.
Oh man.
When he come up to WWF, Vince says, Earl, I want you to take care of Flair. You all are good buddies. I said, okay. You know,
Did he really have that many women?
oh my God.
You say you got your first divorce because of it?
Listen, I didn't know staying out till 2 and 3 in the morning wasn't for me.
Yeah,
And you know, referees got to be there early.
Yeah.
You know, people like Flair, they
They get their main event time. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
And man, it was killing me. And I mean, we go into Hooters, and next thing I know, he's coming out of the bathroom with his robe on. He's naked. We get put out of there.
Damn.
And I just couldn't.
Naked in Hooters.
I went up to Vince. I said, Vince, I can't do this shit anymore. And I said, by the end of summer, I won't have a liver. And on top of that, I don't know where I'm going from one day to the other. Flair would change my flights, and he'd fly me first class and everything, and he'd pay for everything, my food and everything. I had it made, but I just couldn't live out life.
You couldn't hang out with him, huh?
No. So then he put my son with him.
Oh wow.
That was worse than putting me with him. And then you got 2 people that drink and
Oh
party.
yeah, that's awesome. So Flair, so the handful of people, so if you they call you in today and say, Earl, man, we want to put you in the Hall of Fame. Who would you have present you?
this is gonna shock you. I'd have Kazarian, Frankie. This works for TNA right now.
Yeah.
Him.
Oh, you'd have him. You'd have him.
For some reason, I mean, I could have any top superstar
Yeah.
that I wanted.
Yeah.
But I think it was Survivors that I worked in Montreal, Slammiversary, and Frankie just put me over, my son over, and he just told the people what hell of a job that we have and do and get done. And
So he really shows you a lot of love.
and I never forgot that. And if I ever went to the Hall of Fame,
Yeah, you like to have him.
him.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. I
And
wonder.
all the top dogs, way up here,
Yeah.
Hogan's, and my second choice would be Steve Austin,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but I'd have to go with Frankie.
Yeah. So Stone Cold. So out of all the wrestlers, I guess you had a crazy bunch of deals with Hogan, but Steve Austin was your guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And he never hit you with a stunner ever.
no.
Man, that's crazy.
Couple
I
weeks ago-
figured you would take one from him and blow the beer out. And
Now
all
I did
that.
take it easy from Jake to Snake.
You did?
Yeah. But like a couple weeks ago, I was with somebody, a promoter, and another promoter from California called, and he says, somebody wants to talk to Earl. And and it was Austin. What the hell you doing?
That's awesome.
And then he calls me up sometime. He goes, "Hey Hebner, I just watched this goddamn taping. I just seen you beat the shit out of a fan." I said, "Yeah, that's because he was hitting on you." But
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So Austin was your guy, though. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
has he invited you out to be on the Broken Skull sessions yet? Or have you did one? I don't remember. if
no,
I've
he
seen it.
hasn't. But he mentioned it. He said, "I'll get you out to do a podcast one
Yeah.
day."
That's awesome. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Bro, that would be the
Yeah, y'all can tell some good
that would be
stories.
the cream of the crop.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd definitely tune in for that one.
Well, we're getting. It's almost time for us to do our signing. We wanted to just jump into that, man. We talked about a little bit about all the things that we that we really enjoyed growing up, and like I said, every member we have, you're almost involved in them, man. I really appreciate you joining us today, and if we didn't get our fix on this one, we'll have to bring you back and do it again, man.
I'm coming back anyway.
So
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
call you and give you the date.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.